and just up the road across the capital yesterday, we were at Spurs on Super Sunday watching Newcastle make it 7 unbeaten, but better than that. They went and won against a side who were in third place in the Premier League. Just how deserving were they of it, Sean, and how impressed have you been with Newcastle this season?
Yeah, I think a lot of Eddie as well, anyway, generally. Thought he did a great job down at Bournemouth. He's taken a similar feel. He wants his team getting on the front foot, going after teams a bit higher up the pitch. Got a bit of energy, got a good feel about the group. And he'll mix his play just so that he will play forward. He will try and get in behind teams. And they've really gone about it so well since he took over after an initial tough start, but that can happen. But then they've really found their feet. And good signings, I think, have made a difference as well.
And there have been plenty of those. But I know a lot of people, Jamie included, have been impressed with the ones that Eddie Howe inherited as well. But together, they've created this unit which has got them up to 4th in the Premier League, as we said, right at the top of the programme for the first time in 10 years. At this stage of a season, they're up amongst the top 4. Questions being asked now about whether this progress is sustainable. Jamie, what have you made of the style of play that Eddie Howe's implementing at Newcastle?
Yeah, and I think the first thing I want to say is I think when I look at the Premier League right now and I look at that Newcastle team I looked at yesterday, I'm not trying to knock the players, but the good Premier League players, it almost feels the collective is better than the individuals, if you like. And I think Eddie Howe, maybe alongside Marco Silva, is getting as much from his team as any other manager in the Premier League. I really do believe that, and I think it's a fantastic coaching job that he's done.
Well, on that point, I mean, Sean talked about the quality of the signings they've made. Do you think this same group of players will be being snapped up by other clubs also at the top of the Premier League?
No, I think the one standout is Bruno Guimaraes. We highlighted him last week. He looks like a star who you think could go and play for one of the teams who we associate with playing Champions League football. But the other players I see, a lot of them are brought in to keep them in the league. Let's not forget, Chris Wood comes off the bench, Matt Targett, Dan Burn plays yesterday. Obviously, Botman's come in, but if one of the top 4 wants them, they'd have took him. If ahead of, and he's gone there ahead of Newcastle, no disrespect. So when I actually look at the players on the pitch, I keep saying that. Yes, they've spent a lot of money in January and in the summer, but there's still players who I wouldn't class as superstars who would naturally go into other teams. So I think the coaching job Eddie Howe's done is absolutely fantastic. And what he's had to do is come into a club who are embedded in a way of playing, which was fine. Everyone's got different ways of playing, but Rafa Benitez, Steve Bruce had a certain way of playing. And we actually go into the graphic now, and this is just going into the 2 seasons of Steve Bruce, 2.5 seasons, if you like. And you look where Newcastle were style-wise. So, possession, we see the percentage, 38%, 2019-20, 2021. So where does that leave them within the Premier League, if you like? So, they're right at the bottom of the league. And again, there's no right or wrong way how to play football. But if you actually look at this season here, Eddie Howe, getting 50%, 51% of possession, 10th in the league. I actually think Eddie Howe will want that to go a lot higher in the coming years. When we look at the start distance below, that is basically distance from goal where your pass sequences start, which basically means his back foot is pushing higher up the pitch, really. So again, you look where they were in the table under Steve Bruce. This season, they're 8th in that league. And then the one that really stands out for me is the high turnovers and the big difference going from 4.5 a game to 10.6. So again, going from bottom of the league to top of the league. And that is a huge difference. Now, I want to show this clip, and this is actually a clip from 2017. It shows you how far back we have to go to see that type of style. This was Rafa Benitez. And again, Rafa was my manager. This is not a criticism. It's just showing the sea change with Eddie Howe. Now, I was really critical of Newcastle in this game. Now, people may say that's a little bit harsh because they're playing Man City, one of the best teams in the world. And the thing that frustrated me was not just sitting back, because we've just lauded Nottingham Forest for doing something similar against Liverpool, but just sort of sometimes that lack of aggression. People talk about, teams having a go. It's difficult to get the ball off these teams, but having a go for me is being a bit more aggressive, not passive, to try and win that ball back. But Rafa Benitez would argue, well, we only lost this game 1-0 and we were in the game towards the end of the game, and that is the name of the game at times. But what I would say is Newcastle fans for a long time were told, be careful what you wish for. Rafa and Steve Bruce were finishing just below mid-table. They were getting no money from the owner. So they would argue, we've done a great job. I can understand in the league positions. But Newcastle fans wanted more.